Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the S23 versus the release of the S24. Now if you're watching this video you might be interested in getting an S24 or maybe considering getting an S23 instead, and I'm going to be showing you the key differences between the release of the S24 as well as some alternate devices that you might be looking at instead. Now the reason I got an S23 was because I was previously using an A52s 5G and the phone itself was completely fine, but over time it had just gotten damaged, general wear and tear, middle of the screen wasn't responding properly, the corner of the screen was cracked, and performance of the phone was just generally slow. Now I wasn't really surprised with the last one because A-series phones have a tendency of getting slow over time and they're not really designed to last forever. It was a decent phone but just no longer suited to my needs, so I was looking for something significantly better that would last me years to come. So until I could find a better phone, I was using my old Sony Xperia XC1 on a custom ROM. I then bought an SE2020 for about £45 and it was a decent phone, but it was too small for my liking and the battery was not brilliant. I did get the battery replaced and it did work a lot better battery wise, but again it still wasn't great and it just wasn't really my kind of phone. The form factor was just too dated. I might as well have just been using an iPhone 8. I personally just prefer Android because you get a lot more control and freedom over what you do, but it's all just personal preference. Now whilst I did record an unboxing video, I had recorded it on an iPhone and I regret making that mistake because when I went to copy it from the iPhone to the Windows PC, it just did not have it. It just was corrupting and all those gigabytes of 4K footage were gone. I was obviously irritated, but it does happen and unfortunately I can't give you the original unboxing, but I will say that the box has a very nice silhouette on the front of the colour you choose. I will admit the box is really thin. The first impressions of the device, it does look really nice and the cream colour looks brilliant. Feedback from my friends is that it did look quite big with that camera ROM, but I personally don't mind too much and it does kind of grow on you as you just hold the device. The edges have a flat feeling on the back and on the frame it has a very slight curvature. I do recommend getting a nice case like the Spigen rugged armour, and I also just have some cheap screen protectors just in case the screen does get scratched up. When I turned the phone on for the first time I was blown away with how nice the screen looked. It had very little bezels and the screen just looks really nice. Now whilst I'm not much of a heavy phone user, I do want it to work well when I use it. This phone hits the spot perfectly for me. Its general performance is fluid, no stutters, 120Hz refresh display just feels really nice. Apps load very fast and memory management is brilliant with 8GB of RAM. I turned off RAM Plus because it doesn't seem to make an improvement for me. In fact, it seems to work better with it off because it's optimizing for the apps I use most. So you might find it maybe a benefit for you, but have an experiment with RAM Plus if you do get this phone, and yeah, just personally I would recommend turning it off in a lot of scenarios. Now One UI 6 has been out for a while now, and on the flagship phone it feels a lot nicer than it does on my A series. The animations when I open up apps and close them just look so much smoother. General fluidity is just a lot nicer than on the A52. One concern I had when I got the phone was that battery life would be worse than my old phone. Because the screen is only 6.1 inch and the phone itself is just generally smaller, I wasn't sure if it's going to be able to compete with my 6.5 inch older one. Thankfully, the battery is a lot better than my original expectations. I can get roughly to the end of the day before I sleep on a normal usage, and I wake up about 7 AM and sleep at about 10 PM for reference. On other occasions I might need to charge it in the evening. This is usually when I'm using it a bit more heavily, such as maybe with 4G on and just more screen on time generally. Now with this phone I've had a 120Hz adapter on since I got it, and the battery is very similar to my old phone with 60Hz refresh mode. When the phone does need a charge, it really doesn't take that long either. It's got 25 watts super fast charging if you need it, and I use them wherever I go because they are really nice and quick. So 20 to 30 minutes gets me usually from 7 to 10 PM wherever I need that extra little boost, and in about an hour you can get near enough to full. The phone also does have wireless charging with the reverse power share option, which means you can just share it with your friends if their phone dies, so that's always nice to have. My hands aren't very big, so larger phones are a bit awkward for me to use. However, unlike the SE2020, which has a 4.7 inch display, the S23's 6.1 inch display doesn't feel too small and doesn't feel overly massive like my A52s with a 6.5 inch or the A13 with a 6.7 inch display. It makes it comfortable to use it in one hand with Samsung's one-handed mode always there in case you need it, and the display does look really nice. The OLED is really bright in case you need it. Seriously, 1750 nits max brightness, which is very impressive. I never really have to go that high. It does it on adaptive. I doubt mine's ever gone that high because I'm in the UK and the weather here is not great, but that screen is definitely very nice, and for a phone it's more than you're going to need for daily use. A lot of content creators spend way too long, in my opinion, talking about the camera, and it does get quite tiresome. And also, for me, it's really tiring to talk about camera constantly. So I'll give you a little summary. What I will say is it looks really nice when you have enough light. It has an ultra-wide 12 megapixel 0.6 times lens, a wide 50 megapixel 1 times lens, and a telephoto 10 megapixel 3 times lens. I don't take a whole lot of photos, but the ones I do take here and there come out really nice. And if you end up taking it to the beach for the occasional trip, you will never have an issue. As for video, you can shoot it in 1080, 4K, and 8K. Now 1080p and 4K can both shoot in 30 and 60 FPS with all the lenses being available, which is very nice. On my A52 you could only use 2x in 1080 30 and 4K 30 I believe. 8K can record in 30 FPS with the cameras available. And this is a 4K 30 FPS video test with microphone audio, all being shot on the S23. 3 times telephoto, standard 1 times, and an ultra wide shot. The front camera also looks really nice, so for you people who put photos on Instagram, it is going to be more than enough for you. Also got some decent autofocus on the front. Speakers do sound decent, they're very similar to my other one. If they could be a bit louder, that would be nice so you can hear them better when you're outside, but other than that, they do sound good enough for a phone. Microphone quality is very good as well. For example, in a call, my friends can hear me no problem, and videos have decent quality as well. A nice feature is that you can actually use stereo audio through the microphones through the voice recorder app. This is a test of the S23's stereo audio recording feature. So currently I'm just looking straight at the screen as I'm in a WhatsApp call, just talking as I normally would. They should be in both your ears. But now I'm talking straight into the bottom of the phone, and now you should hear me in your right ear. I'm now talking in the top of the phone, and now I should be in your left ear. Sorry if there's any peeking, by the way. I've noticed many reviews don't really talk about the vibration motor in phones, but in my opinion, it is nice to hear a bit about it. After all, you're going to be hearing and feeling the same thing for the next few years, so it's just nice to have a general opinion on what it'll be like. S23 uses a haptic style vibration motor, unlike my A52s, which has quite a horrible one. I'll let you listen for yourself. Yeah, it's a lot less irritating on the S23 for sure. I found that when I was in a public place with the older device, every time I got a message or a call, people would actually look at me because the vibration motor was so loud, but I'm very glad that this doesn't happen with the new one. Samsung also offers different vibration patterns on the more flagship devices, such as syncing with ringtones, notification tones, and just various different patterns. A rather random test that I quite enjoyed to hear when watching phone reviews is the quality of the calls. If this also interests you, this small segment will cover the call quality on the microphone as well as the speaker, so you can hear how it would be if you were in a call. This is being done in the UK over O2 4G calling. So first of all, here's what the speaker sounds like on the S23 in a call.
This is how the speaker sounds within a call. I'm using 4G on the O2 SIM in my main phone, which is the S23, and the A52s has a Vodafone SIM. And this is how the speaker quality is from the S23 in a cellular call.
And secondly, this is how the S23's microphone sounds in a call.
This is how the microphone quality sounds on the S23. As I say, this is over 4G. I'm just outside, so there's a little bit of background noise, but it's quite calm today, so not a whole lot. But you should be able to hear this quite clearly. I'm using the A52s speaker, and hopefully the microphone on this is pretty good.
There we have it, the S24's 2024 review. To summarise it pretty quickly, There isn't a whole lot different with the new revision of Samsung's S series lineup, especially for people who would receive the global model like myself. I've heard rumours that the S24 Exynos' battery life is significantly worse than the S23, which is Qualcomm in all regions. If you're looking for a nice phone with very similar features to the likes of the S24, the 23 might be just for you. The phone feels smooth as butter and the battery lasts a day very comfortably. The camera is the most you'll need if you're not a power user of your phone's camera, and even if you are, you should be quite happy with this one. I hope this video is of use to you. If you did enjoy it, please feel free to like, and the subscribe button is always there if you'd like to find out about my future content. Any questions are more than welcome, just leave them in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.